Andy Reid and the group that they have. And so, for him to really dial in, I can't speak for him, but just from an outside perspective looking in, I think it will really help his game in the fact that, he's got to continue teaching these young guys, bringing the Mecole Hardmans along. Not that Mecole needs too much help. He's a great player himself, but, them gelling, bringing the younger players along, and him really stepping up to be the leader and the quarterback that we all believe he can be.
Absolutely. Okay, final question. When you look in the mirror, not what you see, I don't know if you have any mirrors tall enough to see yourself.
Enjoy the magic of the movies at B&B Theaters. There's something for everyone with Black Phone and Elvis opening June 24th. B&B Theaters is the family-owned and operated movie theater company that operates a cinema location not far from you, with nearly a dozen locations across the metro. Their newest luxury entertainment complexes offer the latest in sound and comfort, electric reclining seats, grand screens, marquee suites, screenplay, MX4D, full bars and restaurants, and so much more. Tickets online at bbtheaters.com.
Alrighty, boys, commercials went a little long, so we're going to be probably about 2 or 3 minutes into the next hour.
I'm attorney
Mike
DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
A new Buick or GMC has a 90-day money-back guarantee at Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC. Shop their selection with a special allocation of the redesigned 2022 GMC Sierra 1500. All power, all luxury, and the coolest tailgate on the planet. And with the 90-day money-back guarantee, it's a Brogdon Best Buy. Visit robertbrogdon.com or find them at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. GMC, we are professional grade. Customer must register vehicle. See dealer for details.
SSJ here for Amini's. All Amini's in-stock inventory is on sale right now. Amini's has a huge selection of indoor and outdoor furniture with 6 years no-interest financing available. Don't buy online when you can work with one of Amini's associates for service before, during, and after the sale. Amini's has arcade games, shuffleboard, golden tee, pool tables, pinball machines, game room furniture, rugs, lighting, theater seating, and more. You want it? Amini's has it. 105th and Metcalf in Overland Park or online at Amini's.com. Stephen St. John here to tell you about KC Grilling Company, now under new management. Located at 159th and Merlin in Olathe. They have everything for your backyard barbecue project. Wide selections of grills, smokers, extensive variety of rubs, sauces, and glazes, large selection of meats to cook, and will design and install your outdoor kitchen with top-of-the-line grills, refrigerators, kegerators, and pizza ovens. Stop by KC Grilling Company today, or check them out online at kcgrillingco.com.
What does your smile say about you? Are you happy? Confident? Friendly? Getting and keeping that smile takes work. Proper brushing and flossing daily, and drinking fluoridated water. Fluoridated water has been in use for 75 years and is considered the most safe, equitable, and cost-effective way to prevent tooth decay. A healthy smile means a healthy person and a healthy community. For more information, visit health.mo.gov. A message from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Spring has arrived. The sun and warmth might mean more time on the golf course, bike trails, pickleball courts, or just the backyard. You should do your body a favor and visit the highly skilled practitioners at Stretch Zone. Stretch Zone is the leader in practitioner-assisted stretching and will help your muscle flexibility and decrease joint stiffness. We all need to focus on our flexibility and mobility. Let Stretch Zone help you get started. Check out their 4 locations, soon to be 5, in the KC area at stretchzone.com.
Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for 2 decades. Track Talk, brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I'm Scott Traylor. That guy sitting next to me is Kirk Elliott. We're the Racing Boys. And we appreciate you tuning in to the show this morning. We're going to have a good show for you. Got a lot of stuff going on. Lee Spencer is going to join us here in a little while. We're going to have to talk about Clint Boyer. and his accident that he had down at the lake. Unfortunately, a young lady lost her life down there over the weekend, and it sounds like the young lady might have had some issues going on, and unfortunately, Clint Boyer was involved in an accident that took the life of a young woman down at the Lake of the Ozarks. We'll talk about that more here in a little bit. But there was a lot of good racing going on last night, Kirk.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was the 100-degree weather or what, but the racetracks at most places were
blowing
not
dust.
the best.
They were blowing dust.
We'll say that.
Yeah.
Not the best, including Limaland, Ohio.
Yeah.
So, but there was some pretty good action last night, nonetheless.
Well, there was a lot of complaining going on at Limaland last night. Did you hear that?
Well, when it got so dusty you couldn't see the race cars during the heat races. Right. Yeah, it got a little dangerous out there, I would say.
That now, do we take part of the blame because the racetracks don't want to spend the money on the fuel to prep these racetracks? You think that's part of the problem that we have going on right now?
I don't know.
You know, you got to think about how much diesel fuel costs, and most of the tractors that prep the racetracks run on diesel fuel. If you're in the promoting game, do you cut short a little bit? Do you water a little bit less than you normally would because of the price of fuel?
I don't know. That's all speculation. But I think it has more to do. It was 100 degrees plus in most of the country this past week,
right,
which adds to the challenge of getting these racetracks prepped properly. And, of course, we all know how bad of a spring it was with all the rain and everything else, that it's been really tough to get these racetracks right. But it's been hot everywhere, and it's not just Limaland, Ohio last night, but there were several racetracks that had dust issues last night.
Right.
So I think it has more to do with the heat wave that's going on more than anything else.
Right. Austin, what's your thoughts on the racetracks that you saw last night? You got an opinion?
It's awful.
They were terrible, weren't they?
Limaland was a joke.
It was blowing dust. You couldn't see the cars.
It was so bad. Kevin Swindell pulled his entire team out after the heat races and called it a night. I mean, I don't blame him. And, Kevin and Joe said it best. I mean, this is too expensive to race, and especially on a track surface like that. I mean, it doesn't make sense as a team owner to jeopardize your equipment and your driver's safety on a track like that. And it's just,
and we saw it on the first lap, didn't we?
I mean,
we saw Craig Kinzer, J.J. Hickle, and Josh Sherman.
That's the World of Outlaw race.
Oh, is that what I'm talking about?
We're talking about the track
you were on Limaland.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it's just, you kind of said maybe it's because of the diesel fuel issue, but they went out there and reworked the track in intermission, so they would have, burnt the fuel anyways. So I don't think it's a fuel issue. And if you don't prep the track at all, and you have a track like that, your fans are going to leave. You're not going to have any support, and you're going to lose your money.
Well, it was a dangerous situation because during those heat races, you literally couldn't see the race cars on the track.
Right.
It was so bad. And, hats off. At least they went in and did the work on the racetrack to make it a whole lot better for the A-Main. But still, it was not a good situation, and most of the drivers that were interviewed after the race said we're glad that the All-Stars backed us up, because there was fixing to be not just Kevin Swindell pulling his car out with Christopher Bell as a driver, but there was going to be an all-out revolt had they not gone in and worked on that racetrack.
You noticed in the post-race interviews, all of them said, thank you to the All-Stars for having our back. Did you notice how many of them said that?
They all said it.
They all said it. So the All-Stars must have went to the track and said, we got to do something before this track. But it blew off immediately, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? The track's already been ran in unless you... Right. From what I saw, I mean, I was tuning out from the All-Star race between the All-Star race and the Outlaw race during the track prep. And, I mean, I didn't get to see what exactly they're doing to it. But, I mean, they didn't break into the surface of it. And that's why it was still, hard packed and it blew off in 3 to 5 laps. But... at least they gave it a shot and showed that they want to have a good track. It just didn't work out for them.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the theme of the whole night. Racetracks all across the country really weren't the best shape last night. And there was a couple that were pretty good, but most racetracks were not good last night.
Beaver Dam was pretty good.
Well, It was pretty good, but here's the thing. The Lucas Oil ASCS race that they had down at Texarkana, terrible. All they did was roll around the bottom.
Yeah, took rubber too, didn't it?
Never got off the bottom. It took some rubber, and it was just it. There's nothing worse. Is there anything worse than watching a race where everybody puts around the bottom? Is that the biggest letdown in dirt racing when people putt around the bottom?
And there's no passing, yes.
Yes.
You look at the results. Garrett Williamson started on the pole and ran second. Hagar started into the first 2 rows and won it. Tim Crawley didn't pass a whole lot of cars. Covington didn't move around that much. I mean, you might have had some outliers like a Jason Martin, went from, deep in the field to a top 10. But Wayne Johnson didn't do much in the lower half of the top 10. It's just, I mean, nobody moved.
Yeah. Blake Hahn, he moved up 2 spots. He started 6th and moved up to 4th, if that tells you anything. And he's your current national champion, defending national champion. So if he couldn't do much, you had to wait for somebody to make a mistake if you were going to get around somebody.
Yeah.
And any time that you have to watch a race where the guy in front of you has to make a mistake, it's not good. I just thought the track down there at Texarkana was terrible last night, to be honest with you.
But you go up into Wisconsin, we had 2 big events up there. Those were probably the 2 best racetracks.
Right.
Cedar Lake Speedway, where we saw a fabulous USMTS race last night, and of course the Outlaws at Beaver Dam. That track was in good shape. So I think most of it is weather-related with the heat wave going through. You saw a lot of dust. At least at Lima Land, they cut the dust down. The feature still wasn't great, but at least it wasn't dusty like it was in the earlier preliminary races.
Yeah, because the cameras, you would completely lose the cars at Lima Land.
Couldn't see anything.
Couldn't see anything.
And the drivers couldn't see anything. That's the biggest issue.
Right.
Well, it got bad when you saw in the B main for the All-Stars that they're running under the tractor tires down on the pavement. That's how bad the surface got and how bad the dust got. That mean they were resorting down to running almost in the infield.
Yeah. Kirk, did you watch that USMTS race last night?
Yes, sir. That was a great race.
That was maybe the best race of the night.
I think so.
And I say that only because Jake O'Neill and Tanner Mullins ran side by side for 15, 20 laps?
Right. And before that, Terry Phillips was in the mix
he
up
was
there.
He was kind of in the middle of it, too.
Yeah, but once Mullins got past Phillips for that second run, then Mullins said he sights on Jake O'Neill, and, those guys put on a heck of a show.
Jake O'Neill just kept pounding the top, and Mullins just kept working the center of the racetrack, and it went on and on and on, like for lap after lap after lap. It was fantastic racing, really.
That's what they call the USMTS Masters at Cedar Lake Speedway, the second of 2 nights last night. After Dustin Sorensen won on Thursday night, the big show is tonight up there. So
they had just about everybody there that was anybody, right?
Yeah. Watch that on racingdirt.com last night. So, I would agree with you. I think that was probably the best show of the night.
What would you think is the best show of the night? Because you didn't watch any sheet metal, did you?
No. All-Stars and the Outlaws is what I watched. Then I watched the highlights to the USAC race at Williams Grove.
So you thought the Sheldon and Carson Macedo battle, throw a little David Gravel in there, you thought that was the best of the night, probably?
I would have to say so.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best. USAC at Williams Grove with the non-wing sprint cars would be second, and third would be the Lima Land All-Star race.
I would agree with that.
I kind of got to get on a little bit of a rant here just for a second. If you listen to so many broadcasts like I do, and last night I had 6 broadcasts going on in here, some of the announcers that do some of these races, and I'm not gonna point a finger at one particular, but there's one that stands out where the audio doesn't sound good. It just, the quality of the audio doesn't sound good on one of the broadcasts. Do you know which one that is, Kurt?
Yeah, but I'm not going to say. I'm not going to point fingers at all these different entities. They all, we've been there. We've been on that side of it. We've had our issues in the past, so I'm not going to sit here and point fingers at people having issues.
But what I'm saying is, some people need to work a little harder at their craft. That's what I'm going to say.
Are you talking about announcers, or are you talking about
a particular announcer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I just think that, I tell you right now, Blake Anderson is becoming one of my favorite announcers, and I'll tell you why.
For the All-Stars.
Yes. Because he is constantly taking care of business, servicing the sponsors, taking care, giving you some nuggets of information, talking about what's going on during the night. He just doesn't step away from the microphone, set the microphone down, and work on his whatever he's got to work on. Blake Anderson is becoming one of my favorite announcers in the business.
Well, the thing I like about Blake is he's passionate. He's
very
genuinely excited to be there.
Right.
And that's not fake. He's not faking that.
No.
So.
Well, and then Johnny Gibson. I like Johnny Gibson. I didn't listen to Johnny as much as I thought I did, but I appreciate the way Johnny Gibson goes about his business, because he's also a guy that services the sponsors, services the track, takes care of the drivers. He puts a lot into it, right? There's not a lot of downtime. And that's what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear a bunch of dead air. I think that's maybe that's my biggest problem. How about you, Austin?
Oh, I'm with you. I mean, you're in the entertainment business.
Entertain.
And the moment you stop entertaining, the moment you stop making money.
Yeah.
I'll kind of go back and talk about the dead air deal. I was at a race this year, and they started to do driver introductions, pull all the cars out to the front stretch and driver introductions, and I'm like, all right, cool, we might get to see a cool driver introduction here, kind of like you see at the Knoxville Nationals, at an Outlaw show, All-Star, nothing, and it was just background music and saying the driver's name. No rattling sponsors off, no hometown, no nothing good, just name, that's it. And it was just no even music, and it was just, I mean, they dropped the ball big time on it.
You want to say which race that was, Austin?
Yeah, Lakeside.
I'm not pointing fingers at anybody.
Lakeside.
But don't you feel that that's a big component of what the announcer's job is to make sure the fans stay entertained?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's a lot
and the listeners, for that matter.
It's a lot different now than it was when I was announcing races, because we've
Why
got
is
the
it
live.
different, Kurt?
We've got the live video now. So you're servicing not only the people at the racetrack, but you've got more people watching on live video. And you've got to treat it almost like you're doing a television broadcast. And that means you've got to keep filling people with information, because you got people tuned in that don't know what they're watching. So you gotta come up with the storylines and all the information that you can for the people who aren't at the racetrack, which amounts to more people than are in the stands at the track.
Right.
And so that has changed everything as far as the live video and the racing than when I was doing it full time.
But if you're going to do it right, you need to have a social media person that works for you. Don't try to let your announcer do that for you. I think that's key.
Well, the announcer is a full-time job.
It is.
At these races.
It is.
I mean, it's and we've listened to a lot of great announcers. There's a lot of great announcers out there.
There's great announcers out there for sure, yeah.
So, I mean, and entertainment is the big key. I think Austin pointed that out very well. You're in the entertainment business. So you've got to entertain the folks so you can keep them coming back.
CMS is going to start an hour late tonight due to the heat. Grandstands will open at 6 o'clock. Hot laps will start at 8. Hot laps. Grandstand gates open at 6 p.m. Hot laps at 8. Racing right after.
Good call.
Good call.
And the track's going to be a lot better when they start after dark, too.
Yeah.
So
I'm taking tonight off from racing.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
And do what?
Deidre and I are going to a blues festival here in Gladstone.
That's right up the street, isn't it?
It's about 6 blocks away. And we couldn't turn it down because we like the blues. Did you know that, Kurt?
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be focused in on Knoxville tonight. I'm anxious to see how everything goes with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at the Knoxville Raceway.
You know, you got to give your girl a night once in a while.
Yeah, but she's a race fan too, right?
She's a race fan, but you know what? She only likes to watch the ASCS National Tour races.
Yeah, because she knows everybody.
Because she knows everybody, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody next week. You know, we don't get to see those people very often anymore, and we're looking forward to it.
Hey, Austin touched on it here just a couple of minutes ago. Williams Grove Speedway last night. Talk about, and I'd not seen Williams Grove Speedway kind of like that before. I think that just kind of feeds into racetracks all over the country. Had a big challenge because of the hot weather and everything. But, man, that was a gnarly curb they had up on Williams Grove Speedway. I don't think I've ever seen that. To watch Justin Grant navigate that curb last night, what did you think about that, Austin? He was riding a bucking Bronco, and he did a hell of a job getting that thing to the finish line, did he not?
He did a heck of a job, but he barely made it. You know, I couldn't imagine what it's like to race a non-wing car around Williams Grove. It's probably one of the hardest tracks to go race that style of car at, and he just about gave it away with 2 to go, and I don't know how he saved it. I'll try and find the picture here of it, and we'll show everybody, but he had everything. He had it all but upside down pretty much, and for him to save it.
Who, Grant did?
Yeah.
Here's the kind of the picture. We'll see if I can get it to go big screen here.
He had 2 or 3 close calls there, navigating that car around there.
That's the picture you're talking about right there?
That's the start of it. The video kind of it escalated in the video, but he had it anyway but upside down. But now he did a heck of a job. He kind of put it on him. Alex Bright and Logan Seavey had a shot with a couple to go, and they just kind of got to battling each other, and it allowed Justin Grant to get away, and he was just kind of clean sailing for the last 2 laps.
Right.
Bright was the biggest mover in that race. He started 13th, and he just kept working his way up towards the front.
Yeah.
He was the guy putting on the show.
Was he working the top?
Alex Bright?
Yeah.
He was kind of on the bottom, kind of the middle to the bottom. Seavey was on the top, and Justin Grant was on the top.
You know, I didn't get to see much of that race because I had everything else on. And by the time I got back over there to watch that race, it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good
So I
shot.
kind of missed it.
Congratulations to Chase Dietz, his second straight 410 wing sprint car win at Williams Grove Speedway last night.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, we better take a break. It's 20 after. Today's show is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Don't forget, we do our Monday through Friday show. It's called Mostly Motorsports. It's live every day, 12 noon Central Time. You can watch it right here on our Facebook page, Twitter, YouTube, or RacingBoys.com. We do that each and every day from 12 noon to whenever. We never have a cutoff time. We just kind of go until we're ready to quit doing the show. So anyway, it starts at 12 noon Central Time, and it is also brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. We will be back with more Track Talk right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll be right back.
Today on Hey Culligan, soft water, cleaner environment. What do you say, Greg?
Hey Culligan, are you saying if I have a Culligan high-efficiency water softener, I'm also helping the environment?
It sounds like you're saying it, Greg, and yes you are, because with the Culligan high-efficiency water softener, you'll use less detergent, soap, and harsh chemicals, and that's good for the planet.
Now you're saying it.
You bet I am, Greg. Soft water and a cleaner environment is already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with expertise and tools with Windows 11 to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. To do more with a Latitude laptop, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
A mid-mod desk chair to rejuvenate my ho-hum workspace.
Staples has you covered.
A place to put my papers so I can be more productive.
A storage cabinet that I can roll out of the way on weekends.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now get 25% off storage and filing products, chair mats, decor, and lighting with the purchase of an office chair or desk. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. N72, in-store only.
This is David Hughes, General Manager of Aristocrat Motors Lee's Summit. Interest rates and fuel costs are rising at a record pace. If you need relief, we can help. Right now, Aristocrat Motors Lee's Summit has an amazing selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs to fit any budget. If you are stuck in a lease, need a lower payment, or better fuel economy, come see us. We're located at 704 Southeast Oldham Court in Lee's Summit, Missouri, or online at aristocratmotorsls.com.
30 seconds.
The last 2 pandemic years meant websites have been more important than ever, but websites are just one tool. For the past 26 years, Digital Lagoon, located right here in Overland Park, has been developing websites, but also providing comprehensive digital marketing programs. They use social media, SEO, and targeted online ads. WHB used Digital Lagoon when they wanted a major upgrade to the ESPN Kansas City website. Working with the programmers, graphic designers, and marketing specialists face-to-face was a great experience. Contact Jordan at digitallagoon.com.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. I want to thank everybody that supported Kirk and I for the last 22 years on the show. So we appreciate everybody that tunes into the show each and every week. Kirk, this week on Mostly Motorsports, I had a chance to talk to Brian Brown.
Yeah, and boy, what a great win that Brian Brown had last Saturday night at Knoxville with the World of Outlaws. Yep. And Danny Lasowski is crew chief, first time win in Outlaws as crew chief for Danny the Dude.
Big win last week.
Of course, we're thinking about the Lasowski family. George Lasowski went in for bypass surgery here this past week.
Right, we're thinking about him.
Doing well, so thinking about him. And Brian Brown talking about his big win. He was on Mostly Motorsports earlier this week, and here's a portion of that conversation.
He gives it the what for, down around the cushion onto the front straightaway. Should be able to pick off Blue this next time around. Or I'm sorry, not Blue, but Westfall this next time around for second.
I don't know if you watched the videotape of when you got up in the muck and when you had to get out of the gas on the first night. And how dejected he was when that happened. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it about a couple of times there. Yeah, I see they posted that. Yeah, I mean he doesn't drive anymore. So to me, for him to show the emotion that he shows, that shows what kind of competitor he is. And love having some guy that beside me, working with me, that wants to win as bad or more than I do. And when we don't win, we want to know why, or we're disappointed. But running third with the Outlaws, we're disappointed, but we're not ungrateful, because that's tough to do in general. So it's different if you run third and you started on the pole and you just held on to third and you were going backwards, and versus we were going for the win and something like that happened. So I mean, and he it's just good to see that sometimes when guys leave the seat, they leave the fire in the seat too, and they're on cruise control the rest of their life, and they just want to relax or whatever. And that's, to me, the opposite with him. He's wanting to, he wants to win the Knoxville Nationals again, and just in a different aspect of when he won it as a driver. So, like I said, it's good to have him, and he's a huge asset to me, as well as my, Justin Lawyer and my dad Robert and my grandpa George and Lath and the guys at the shop and all that stuff. It's all a big puzzle. And Danny's a piece of it. I'm a small piece of it. My dad, Justin, Lath, my grandpa. If one piece of the puzzle's missing or got a bent edge, it doesn't make a complete puzzle. And I got a good team right now, and like I said, just everybody's pumped up, and our partners are pumped up. Casey's FEP, Andy's Frozen Custard, Impact Signs. All of our partners are pumped, and but there's times there's going to be weeks when we didn't win, and you still got to be pumped up and keep your team motivated and excited on those opportunities too. So like I said, it's just June the 13th or 14th, whatever it is, and a lot of time before August.
You know, with Danny having 112 wins at Knoxville, when you want to go to him and talk to him, because, you know, maybe you didn't have this with Chad, right? The relationship that you can talk about in the driving aspect of it, how important is that to you to be able to talk to Danny about performing out on the racetrack as a driver? How critical is that conversation with you and Danny?
Yeah, it's very important. We have very in-depth conversations at the shop. Our driving styles are different. They're not the same. As he drives different than I do, and we like different feels, and I think that's been a little bit of a learning curve to try to figure out what exactly I like and how do we make my car the best it can be and with what. But the driving stuff is just braking points, where to use the throttle. I mean, a lot of things like that are tricks of the trade that he's had for a long time, and maybe he hasn't shared all those with me because he has to race against me or had to race against me for a long time. So he didn't share everything he knew, but as we become partners and teammates here, he's been an open book. And a lot of it's just situational stuff. As a driver, it's all about confidence, and it's as you race these races and they get deep into the race and the latter half of the races. Even in the beginning of the races, your decision making can make you or break you, and win you outlaw races or lose you outlaw races. So a lot of times I just go through my head and just think of every circumstance that could get thrown my way during an A main, and just kind of say, hey, am I thinking right here? Was that what you would be doing? Or even on the stumble of my engine, I asked him today, like, hey, if it's doing that, you got any tricks of the trade that can make it better or worse or better for me, to try to get me to get going, and just stuff like that. I've been racing a long time, but I still want to learn every single day and be a student of the game. Because at the end of the day, like, you're not going to win the races you want to in the Knoxville Nationals without being not just the fastest car, but the sharpest driver as far as making good decisions,
right?
When it counts. Mm-hmm. And like you say, you lead on Saturday, you lead 18 laps, or say it's lap 14 and there's a double file restart. I have to choose what lane I'm going to be in. I need to choose where I'm going to pick up the throttle. There's a lot of things that go on inside that car that I'm going to have to decide. And if I'd had a conversation with Danny pre-race or today or whatever, and we talk about an item, when I go to make that decision, I have more data to think through of, like, okay, Danny said this, so that's what I'm thinking, so let's do it. Right. Two heads are better than one. And just fortunate. Chad's a great crew chief, one of the best in the world, but he's never driven, so he can only give me so much data. And he was very good at learning, and try to learn as much about driving, even though he was wanting to iRace. Anything he could do to help me, and that's why he's one of the best. Yeah. But there's no substitute from strapping your butt in there and feeling what we feel on a nightly basis.
Brian Brown and Danny Lasowski could be one of the better 1-2 punches in sprint car racing right now.
I would say so.
Yeah.
And with that performance last Saturday night, you got to look ahead to the Nationals in August. And, hey, these guys may be a player.
Right.
And Brian's had several second-place finishes at Knoxville. Of course, Danny is a 4-time champion of the Knoxville Nationals. But, boy, you look at August, and you got to believe that the 21 car is going to be a real factor up there.
Right. Currently, Brian Brown has a 178-point lead over Aaron Reitzel in the point standings up at Knoxville.
And he's not running there every week.
Isn't that crazy?
Could he still win a championship by not running all the races?
Didn't he do that one year? Did he not run all the races one year, still win the championship one year, Austin?
He's done that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Whenever I know the past handful of years I started paying more attention to him, it's, he'd miss probably 2 or 3. And go hit his outlaw shows or whatever around here close. But yeah, he'll miss 2 or 3 and still bank enough wins throughout the year to have a good enough cushion to fall back on.
Right.
The biggest accomplishment to me, if he moves, and I think he will move into the number 2 spot in all-time feature wins at Knoxville, he'll never catch Danny the Dude. Of course, he's got that all locked up. But if you have Danny Lasowski and Brian Brown as the top two.
You don't think Brown can win that many races?
I don't think so. Would he still be 40, 50? I don't see the final numbers. Brian's not going to be able to race long enough to catch Danny.
Right.
With the all-time wins. But if those two guys are 1 and 2 in all-time wins at Knoxville, that is really something to celebrate for that family.
Any thoughts there, Austin, on that?
Yeah, I'm with Kirk or whoever said he probably won't make it to 112. I mean, he's almost to 60 now, isn't he?
He's getting a little long in the tooth, right?
And he's 42, 43 years old, and talking to Brian personally, he doesn't want to race forever. He knows at some point he's gonna have to call it quits, and he's closer to the end than he probably knows.
He'll be an owner someday, won't he?
Yeah. And I can see him probably putting in another 6 or so years, but I mean, if he wins 5 races in 6 years, that's only 30 wins. That only puts him at 90. So that I don't think it'd be. I mean, he had to do something just crazy to pull it off, but you never know what can happen. But I don't think he'll get to there.
Right, I don't either.
But that to me, of all the championships that both of those drivers had won at Knoxville, to be 1 and 2, that those two guys to do that's something I don't think could be matched by anyone.
Right.
At least not in our lifetime.
Did you guys check out the Lucas Oil late model series last night?
Saw the highlights of it. They had double features last night.
Twin 30 lappers last night. Yeah.
Smoky Mountain Speedway. We had Chris Madden and
Jimmy Owens.
Jimmy Owens picking up the win.
Yeah.
And he's not been really that stellar in his performance here over the last couple of years. For Jimmy Owens to step up and do what he did last night, that was a big night for him.
He beat Jonathan Davenport, by the way. So
that's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. I think the biggest surprise of the night was the Carson Ferguson kid. He's 22 years old. He's been more of a crate late model type racer for a while.
Is he Chris Ferguson's cousin?
They're related some way or another. Do you know how they're related?
I think they're
Austin?
cousins.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them. You're not into the sheet metal.
Not right now.
Not into the sheet metal. But anyway, they're related some way or another. But he's only 22 years old, and he was up there battling for the lead. And there was one point when I thought Carson Ferguson was going to win that race. He got up there and he challenged Jimmy Owens. He got past Jonathan Davenport, and he was up there and he was putting the pressure on Jimmy Owens. I really thought we were going to see one of the biggest upsets in late model racing this year with Carson Ferguson picking up the win. But unfortunately, Jonathan Davenport got back around him, and Carson Ferguson kind of just faded a little bit there towards the end of that race, and he ended up running third.
Well, Carson Ferguson had a pretty good run at Eldora last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think he won a heat race on Saturday during the preliminary rounds, and so he showed his mettle there last weekend. So for him to get a third-place finish in that twin last night, that was pretty good.
He had a big smile on his face last night, let me tell you.
And while wrapping up the late model talk here, Bobby Pierce did it again last night at Tri-City Speedway after his drive shaft broke on Thursday night at Davenport. He redeemed himself by passing Dennis Herb Jr. at Tri-City Speedway last night for his second win on the Hell Tour. So he likes to rip the lip, shall we say.
Right.
He's not afraid to bang a little sheet metal up against the wall. Bobby Pierce doing it again last night at Tri-City Speedway.
Yeah. Ryan Timms picks up a win, too.
Yes, he won up at Jackson.
Right.
And that's a big week up in Huset's and up in that area coming up this next week.
Yeah, a lot of good racers up there. And I'm sure old Jimmy Jones, we need to get Jimmy Jones on the show, don't we? You've been.
I told you that.
You've been telling me that, right? Yeah, stories is good. Jimmy can tell you stories that last forever.
That's what we need.
We might need 2 hours with Jimmy Jones.
If that's what it takes to get a good guest on and hear some good stories, I'll do it.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot of great stories, and I'm happy for Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Jones has been working through a lot of teams over the last several years, and he's finally found a home with Ryan Timms. They let him do what he does best. He tells the guys what needs to be done to the car. I think Jimmy services the motors on the car, and I'm really happy for Jimmy Jones.
And Ryan Timms will be able to go to more racetracks in late August when he celebrates his 16th birthday.
Well, you know what the thing about it is that they have enough money to afford Jimmy Jones. Not many people can afford Jimmy Jones. He would be a great crew chief for my boy Austin O'Neill.
He'd be a great crew chief for anybody that can afford him.
Yeah. The problem is affording him. You know?
I mean,
and the Tims have money.
They got plenty of it. I mean, they wouldn't be racing. I mean, the way they are without the backing. I mean, that's what it takes to.
Seems like they like going up to Huset's quite a bit, don't they?
Only place the kid can race.
Yeah.
Only place they allow 15-year-olds.
Right.
So I mean, you got to race where you can, and
ASCS to let him run.
He doesn't. I mean, if you can race 410s at 15, why would you go race an ASCS race if you can race 410s at 15?
Right. I got you. All right, well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, there's going to be more of Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Stay tuned for more. Lee Spencer is going to join us next here on Track Talk.
Track Talk.
Hello, friends. It's Mama Mary with Greengrass Cattle Company here in beautiful Weston, Missouri. Let's talk about the perfect first bite. The first bite of a mouth-watering, tender, juicy, melt-in-your-mouth steak. The first bite that makes you close your eyes and chew slow. That's what you get with every bite of our steaks here at Greengrass Cattle Company. When your steak comes from Greengrass Cattle Company, you will taste the difference. Find out for yourself at greengrasscattleco.com. That's greengrasscattleco.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and the sons who had fathers. From everyone here at Sports Radio 810 WHB, it's always a fun sports weekend. The U.S. Open happens on Father's Day. I'm always happy because my anniversary is Friday. My daughter's birthday has already happened, so Father's Day is the bottom of the list for our family. It shouldn't be that way for your family. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Patrick Mahomes got another baby coming. Happy double Father's Day to him coming up. Happy Father's Day weekend from all of us at Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Search and play for Sunken Loot at 7th Street Casino each Thursday in June for your chance to win a share of $5,000 in Lucky Loot. So remember, come by 7th Street Casino every Thursday in June, and you could be a big winner. 7th Street Casino, located in Kansas City's historic downtown district. Win bigger at 7th Street Casino, Kansas City's only 24/7 all-slot casino. 7th Street Casino in the heart of downtown KCK.
Attention everyone, are you ready for the summer heat? Let ProBuilt Pool and Patio get you started on your summer prep. As the largest provider of fiberglass swimming pools, we have the biggest selection and offer the fastest installation times. At ProBuilt Pool and Patio, we proudly stand behind every home we serve. We make dreams come true and deliver them right to your backyard. The best time to get a pool is right now. Call today for your free quote. ProBuilt Pool and Patio, 816-786-3893.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
30 seconds, boys.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Want to thank everybody that's tuning in from around the country. We always get a lot of people that tune in from Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, California. We want to thank all those people that continue to tune in, especially during the week when we're on mostly motorsports. We got a lot of people that are from Ohio, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. We've been blessed, really, the amount of people that have been listening to the show. So we want to thank everybody so much for being a part of it. You can give us a shout out and let us know where you're listening from today if you'd like. Let's talk a little bit about that Sheldon Haudenschild win last night. What do you guys think about that? Oh, we got Lee, don't we? We can't do that. We got to go to Lee Spencer because she's on the phone. We can't talk more sprint car racing when we got Lee on the phone. How you doing, Lee?
I'm great. How are you?
I started to just go off. Did you watch any sprint car racing last night?
I did. I got to see the Dust Bowl at Lima, and then as soon as that concluded, I jumped over to World of Outlaws.
Yeah, Lima Land, that was kind of a joke, wasn't it?
I wasn't quite sure what was going on there, but, I just heard the complaints and had to rely on, friends that had watched the whole thing because we were actually leaving Knoxville as they were hashing it out over their, differences at that track.
Yeah. I think the All-Stars came to bat, and they went in there and took up for the drivers and said, hey, listen, you're going to have to do something with this track or we're going to have a big issue here, or they're going to pop a lot of tires.
It sounded that way, but yeah. I was watching the action more so than I thought it turned out okay at the end, and honestly, coming back from Knoxville, I'm not the best person to judge because I was watching on my phone, so I didn't have the full effect. It's not like watching on a big screen TV and having any idea what's going on. You're really just kind of hearing the commentator and keeping up with the action.
So last night they had a couple practice sessions up there at Knoxville. How'd that go?
That went fabulous. There were a lot of kids spinning, trying to find the edge, but I thought overall the track looked good. Matt Crafton said it was a ton better than last year, so I have to take his word for it because he races on all kinds of different dirt surfaces.
And what
he enjoyed it, and he was fastest in best 10 consecutive laps.
In what kind of way was the track better, Lee? Can you kind of fill us in on that a little bit? What were they not happy with last year, and what are they happy with this year?
I don't think we had Blair, obviously because of the time that they did happy hour, but besides that, I think that he was just happy to be able to find some grip and be able to find a fast lap. The bottom was fast. Guys that moved up, they lost speed in their trucks, but the bottom was fast and they had something they could work with, where last year there were just, all kinds of issues. And I think a lot of it was just the inexperience, and most of the people had never run trucks. But so many of these guys are, running dirt just for fun now. Crafton's one of them. A lot of the Toyota drivers, they've got them going over to Millbridge during the week, so it's improved the composition of the field, I think, or the competition in the field, rather. And so it's, I need to, I'm supposed to talk to Crafton this morning, so I'll get a better idea, what he likes and doesn't like and what his thoughts are. But it looked like they had it together a little bit more this year.
Out of all the drivers that you witnessed last night, who impressed you the most?
Friesen was pretty sporty. I mean, but every time I go out on a limb and say this is going to be the time that we're going to see Stewie's, true talent come out because he's so good on dirt, I get disappointed. And I'm interested to see what Tyler Carpenter will do because he's never short of 1-2.
Right.
And you know that he won this ride by winning the Gateway Dirt Nationals. So I'm really curious to see, how he gets, if he plays well with others here at Knoxville.
Yeah.
Ben Rhodes. I mean, Ben Rhodes he fell in love with dirt. I ran into him at Gateway Dirt Nationals several years ago, and he really wanted to drive on dirt, and he finally got the opportunity to. He won the Bristol Dirt Race. He was fastest in first practice. Carson Hosefar, who is coming off of a broken right tibia from that vicious wreck at Gateway, he was fastest in happy hour. And as I said, Crafton was tops in best 10 lap averages. So last year I was really kind of surprised that Austin Hill won. He wasn't a dirt guy.
Right.
Just kind of took the lead from Chandler Smith with 10 to go and ran with it. I think this year's race will have somebody who's, either in really good truck equipment on a weekly basis,
right,
or one of the veterans will come in and make it happen.
How about Buddy Kofoid? He's going to be in the Kyle Busch Motorsports 51. He did a great job at Bristol. How are his chances, and what did he look like last night?
But, Buddy was 40. Buddy was second quick, best 10 lap averages. So, I think he's certainly a student of the sport. He's somebody that really works hard to be the best at whatever challenges have been given him. And you could hear him talking to the team and just it was always, what do I have to do to be better? Where are the guys beating me? Where am I best at? I mean, he's, asking tons and tons and tons of questions. He was fighting tight early on. A lot of them were fighting tight early on, but, he's going to be sporty. I mean, he's in the best equipment you could possibly ask for. That truck, the number 51, it's won the last two races, Corey Heim at Gateway and Kyle Busch last weekend at Sonoma. So, equipment's not going to be an issue. This is a little different format where we're going to have heat racing for qualifying. There aren't going to be pit stops since there is no pit road at Knoxville, so to speak. I mean, not traditional pit road like you would have at a stock car, at a NASCAR track. So, I don't think that this will be the crap show that we saw last year at Knoxville.
That's good. We just figured it out last night. Dylan Westbrook, who is running full-time with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour, that was the plans, I believe. He took off last night, this weekend, of running with the National Tour to run a truck, and he was 29th overall in speed last night. He's driving the 3 truck. Did you see anything out of Dylan Westbrook that might make you think?
I saw him spin 3 times. I that had he been at Western Springs, they would have parked him. But, I'm sure he's just trying to find the edge. I mean, if you don't run these big, heavy trucks all the time, that's one of the hardest things, to get used to. I don't know if he ran in a stock anything before this weekend. I know
probably not.
If he went in there cold, it would probably take him a while to get used to it.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah, he was an equal opportunity spinner yesterday. So that was interesting. I'm glad to know what his background is. I was trying to find something, couldn't find him on Twitter. So.
Yeah.
He'd never even been in a truck before.
I don't think he's been in a truck before. And the thing about it is he's very good in a sprint car. I don't know if you've seen him. He's been running a little bit with the All-Stars here as of late, and he is a full-time member of the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour. I don't know where he finished in the points last year. It was up there in the top 5, I believe. But he's a really good race car driver, and I hope that he does some good. Hopefully he'll get his wheels under him and maybe move up towards the front a little bit. I mean, he was still ahead of quite a few cars in practice, so maybe, just maybe, he'll figure it out before the race is over.
I mean, it's. I mean, you saw what happened last year. I don't think it's going to be that bad this year. And like I said, I mean, Carpenter coming into this field, they ran him, I want to say at an ARCA test maybe at Daytona, so he got an idea how heavy these cars were going to be. I think. I don't know what super dirt late models, what they weigh. I guess that's a Kenny Wallace question. But, I mean, that would kind of that would be a little easier in my, thinking than it would be trying to go from a sprint car.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what the difference in weights are, but it would, I would think that it would be intimidating trying to get used to that, weight too, and where the edge is on that the first time.
I think super late models weigh somewhere around 22, 23, 2,400 pounds.
I think it's 23, 25, 23, 50.
Yeah, it's right
It's
in that
100
area.
pounds lighter than like a modified, so 23 range.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm not surprised that the dirt track's going to be a whole lot better than it was last year. I mean, you got the best dirt track prep people in the country with the Duncans prepping this racetrack.
They're the best.
It's a big difference between sprint cars and these heavy trucks on dirt, and I knew they would get it right. And if you're listening, fans, check it out tonight. I think it's going to be a great show.
If you can't go up there in person, if you're right here in the Kansas City area, it's only about a 3.5-hour drive up there. They're going to have plenty of seats for you up there, so go on up there. If you want to watch a truck race on dirt, it would be a great time to do so. And not only while you're up there going to the truck race, you can go over to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. They've got a great track tribute to Ascot Park that's going on over there right now. So if you want to go over and check out the Hall of Fame, there's never been a better time. They've got a bunch of old cars from Ascot Park out in Gardena, California, one of the legendary tracks of all time, and a great tribute to it going on right now at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame.
The weather forecasts are a lot better than a year ago. They had this event on a Friday night last year, and the weather caused some problems. We got none of those worries tonight, do we?
Heat. That's all you got to worry about.
It's going to be hot.
Just going to be heat.
And the heat's not even bad. I mean, compared to what it has been, what it was like in North Carolina and in Missouri last week. I don't know if you guys got any of those storms that blew through yesterday, but those were brutal. But I mean, they were all. We had 70 mile per hour winds in St. Louis yesterday, so that was that's what I woke up to. But I looked at the forecast, and it was abundant sunshine up here. I mean, it's beautiful. I had on jeans yesterday, and it wasn't brutal. So it was. I think the conditions will be absolutely ideal.
Yeah, go early and spend the day. It's a great place to spend the whole day.
It's going to be a great time up there, Lee. Do you have any predictions? We only have about a minute to go here. Do you have any predictions for tonight?
I mean, it would not surprise me if Ben Rhodes goes back-to-back, but I think that there are so many grinders in the field that, Stuart Friesen loves his car. You know, he thinks he's got a great car. Crafton, he's fast. And Chandler Smith, after getting his butt handed to him last year, I think he's looking for redemption. So, I think there's a wide variety, and like I said, these kids, the kids that race at Millbridge during the week now, and then come to the Truck Series, I think they picked up a lot. So Hosefar, Ben Rhodes, John Hunter Nemechek, I think these guys are a lot more prepared to race on dirt than they have ever been in the past.
I'm a little concerned if Buddy's got enough speed in his car. He was 18th overall on the sheet. Hopefully he'll have enough.
Yeah, but he was second in best 10 consecutive lap averages. So I think that's a better number to keep an eye on. And I think I think he knows he's fast. He just has to put the whole race together. He was so good at Bristol.
Right.
I mean, we were pulling for him every lap. I would love to see him win. I mean, I think it would be great for the sport. But, he's going to have to go against a lot of veterans in the field.
Lee, thank you. We appreciate you so much. You got something coming up on Racing Boys that's probably going to be about trucks this week, right?
Yes, it is. I did a Kofoid piece yesterday morning, but I got a little bit of a preview coming here shortly.
All right. Thank you, Lee. We appreciate you.
Take care, gentlemen.
All right.
Bye.
There you have Lee Spencer joining us on the show. Hour number 2 coming up. Follow us around the corner. You can watch it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or racingboys.com. It's going to be me and Kirk, Austin and Todd. It's going to be a good second hour. We hope that you'll join us. It's all been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll see you right around the corner on Track Talk.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct.
Good job,
cocktail
fellas.
sale.
Good show.
We have
Thanks,
hot
my
tubs
friend.
coming
Have a
in
good
every
weekend,
week.
all right? Y'all
No
have a
need
good
to
one.
wait
Happy
for
Father's
months.
Day to
Come
all
get
y'all.
your
Hey, I
hot tub
appreciate that.
today.
Thank you very much.
Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
At Lucas Oil, we take pride in creating problem-solving products to make your car care easier. We protect your vehicle and make it run longer so you can focus on the things that matter most. Whether it's commuting to work, visiting a loved one, taking the kids where they need to go, going to the big game, or anywhere life takes you, Lucas Oil is committed to getting you there for all of life's important moments. Lucas Oil, it works.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
One of the main reasons for poor vehicle performance is a dirty fuel system. It can cause decreased fuel economy and actually do harm to your engine over time. By adding Lucas Fuel Treatment to your vehicle, it cleans and lubricates the entire fuel system. Pump, carburetors, fuel injectors, and valves as you drive. It also improves your vehicle's performance. It's a non-solvent product designed to protect both gasoline and diesel engines. Lucas Fuel Treatment. It works.
Cigarport.ca is your go-to online store for exclusive cigars produced from the best quality tobacco in the world.
There is less than 1/100th of an inch of motor oil protecting your car's engine. Friction and heat causes engine oil to experience thermal breakdown, weakening its ability to protect the engine and its parts. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer is specially formulated to resist thermal breakdown, protect vital engine parts, and extend the life of your engine. It also stops smoking, knocking, and oil consumption in worn engines. Lucas Heavy Duty Oil Stabilizer. Keep that engine alive.
Missouri's must play getaway. Osage National Golf Resort.
3 9-hole courses to choose from at the Lake of the Ozarks in the Osage River Valley. Stay and play packages in our first-class condos. A beautiful clubhouse complete with pro shop and exercise facilities. A large pool for relaxation and families. The Eagle View Sports Bar and Grill. Great wedding facilities. Go online and make your tee time today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Next to your vehicle's engine, your transmission is the most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and if you're not listening to the Racing Boys, then you've got some sort of head problems. You gotta listen to the Racing Boys. Get her done!
Welcome to Hour 2 of Track Talk on the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. Made in America, sold to the world. Here again are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Oh, welcome back. It's hour number 2 of Track Talk. Kirk, you believe that we've been doing this show for 22 years? Can you believe it?
No, I can't. Because when we entered into this whole deal,
you didn't know if you were going to be with me for a week.
Yeah, I said I'll hang out with you for a little while. We'll see how it goes.
And a little while's been 22 years.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We've had a lot of fun over those 22 years, haven't we, bud?
Yes, sir. A few more.
What am I going to do when you're gone?
You got a few more weeks of me, but I'll still be around. I'll be a guest on your podcast show once in a while. How's that?
Well,
Mostly
yeah.
Motorsports.
I wish you would live closer to Kansas City than you.
Yeah. I haven't made any final decisions yet on what I'm going to do. The housing market, I fear, is going to be.
You know what, Kirk?
Cause me a big problem trying to move right now. I don't know.
Kirk, here's your problem. You're going to go. Do you mind me asking how much you pay for rent now?
I pay a little over $1,000 a month.
Just a little over $1,000
It's going up, by the way, too. It's going up.
Hey, just so you know, when you move, you're not going to pay any less than $1,300 or $1,400 a month.
I'm with you. I agree with that. That's why I say it's a very difficult time to be moving.
Have you been saving your Racing Boys money?
Yeah, I've got a little money saved up, but it's dwindling quick. The savings are dwindling fast.
Hey, Todd. Kirk's always been the mystery man on the money, hasn't he?
If he says
he's always been the mystery. He's never let it known how well he is, because we know his family, and we know that his family did well.
He got core money.
Listen, he's got some core money.
But have you checked lately? Everything has gone up. Things cost more now.
That means if Kirk says he's got a little bit of money stashed, then he's
got a lot of money.
He's doing okay.
He's got more money than any of us. I guarantee it.
It's dwindling away fast right now. I'll say that.
I don't know why my nose is running this morning.
There's some blooming going on. My son yesterday before the baseball game, it was
same thing.
Same. There's a new bloom, a late bloom. I don't know if it was oak or if it was. I don't know which one it is, but
Man,
there's
I'm
something.
stuffy this morning.
But you're not the only one. There's 2 other people I've read on Facebook this morning said,
My
what's going on in the air
And
today?
usually
So-
it's me that has the
Yeah,
runny
Kurt's
nose and
usually
the
the dyer.
sniffles and everything. And
Right,
you-
right, yeah.
Hey, Todd, I had a great time watching Zach, your son, play baseball yesterday. That was awesome.
Hot game, but it was well.
Did you sit in the shade, Kurt?
Yeah, they had a canopy over the grandstand there. It was not bad. It was not bad.
Just so you know, I called and apologized to Todd for not making it yesterday.
Yeah.
I said there wasn't. I go, you wasn't the only one there. There was probably only 5 parents there yesterday.
What happened was, Deidre gets off early on Fridays.
Uh-huh.
And she showed up about 2:15. Next thing you know, me and her out there playing with her plants and
Working
doing
in the yard.
things.
She's doing gardening.
And how do you walk away from your girl working in the yard,
No, you don't.
right?
No, you don't.
So I got sidetracked, and then the next thing I know, I look at the clock. It's 3:30, and I'm thinking, "Shit, I've missed the ball game."
It's all good.
Well, I got to say, Zach was the star of the game yesterday.
How'd he do?
He was the star of the game.
Tell me, Kirk. Give me a little detail.
Well, he had a
little
double.
insight.
He had a double that led off a big inning. They
Yeah.
scored runs. He scored the run that brought him to within a run, and then he made a terrific catch in the outfield. But the biggest play of the game was the bunt he laid down that resulted in 2 runs scored.
He had a
that
bunt.
gave him a 2-run
He
lead.
had a bunt that ended
So
up.
you showed up on a good day.
Absolutely. Well, I
So,
get the feeling this is
Todd,
is a regular business for a Zach surprise.
Todd, do you think your son Zach is going to make it to the major leagues, or do you think he'll be a minor league ball player?
He could probably make it to minors if he wanted to. His whole
Does he want to?
Nah, I think he's got his.
What's he want to do in life?
He wants to make a lot of money and be smart. He's got a 4.3 grade point average.
Yeah, he's real smart.
Yeah, he's. We're going to be looking at academics on that side, but he's
Maybe he'll be a triathlete or something,
Yeah.
or maybe better yet, maybe he'll be just one of those guys that run 5Ks,
Might be able
runs
to do-
marathons and whatnot, because he likes to run, doesn't he?
He's a runner, but
Yeah.
he's a baseball. I mean, as Kirk can tell, he eats, sleeps, and drinks this baseball. I think his main goals, Division I, if he could get it, baseball, which is top 5 program is tough to get. They're all in the College World Series this weekend, but
he's got the talent.
I mean, like you said, his work ethic will help him tremendously. He
Yeah.
works at it way harder than anybody I've ever seen up close in my vision. I've never seen nobody work that hard around me. So
Look at Austin; he's all glazed over.
He
over
has that
there.
glaze-
That
So-
hard
It's
work
like,
paying off,
I don't
Todd.
know what the hell you guys are talking about, but
That hard
can we
work
get back
is
to
paying
racing
off.
anytime soon?
No, I'm glad Wing Nation's on behind you. I've been watching them talk to Danny.
Aaron?
Yeah, they're talking to Danny right
they're
now.
talking to Danny
Yeah.
for a little bit. So it was a hot
Dietrich?
one out there. So last night,
Lasowski.
Oh, Lasowski.
Yeah, he was on there.
So we got that on the.
So they got
back
Lakeside-
burner.
We're going to get Danny on maybe next week. We'll
They
talk
got
about
Lakeside in last night because I heard the drop
that. Darren
of the,
Bennett texted me and said they had 109 cars there last night, and the track conditions were excellent.
I heard it was a good track.
Yeah, that's what.
Nick Benninger won again last night in the USRA Modified Division at Lakeside last night. Andy Bryant winning the USRA B Mods. I see my nephew Dennis ran 5th last night.
Oh, there's our old friend Marie. She's made it back. Maria, we have missed you. Where have you been? You've been working, haven't you? Our great friend. She was at the Grove last night.
Man, what a wild race that was. And we talked about that in the first hour where Justin Grant barely made it to the finish line, but he did.
Right.
That was quite a show.
Yep. I don't know.
A different Williams Grove Speedway last night.
What's the problem when you got all these TVs going in here? I've got a TV in front of me that people don't see here in the studio, and I hooked up a laptop to it so I could watch USMTS, and then you get all these other TVs, and then you get your laptop here. I watch on my laptop as well. So I've got 6 different TVs that I'm watching at one time. And when you're surfing around, It's hard to keep up with everything going on.
It really is. Now, I was sitting where you are.
You get dizzy. There's so much racing going on, you get dizzy.
I was sitting where you are most every Friday and Saturday night last year, trying to follow. You've got more TVs working now than I had a year ago,
right?
Working out here, but it is hard to follow everything, and you got to keep your eyes moving all the time,
right,
to make sure you don't miss anything.
I need to write down more notes. That's what I need to do.
But this is a great place to watch racing. I'll tell you that.
There isn't anything better.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I'm so spoiled because we have, you know, we've got the TV in front of me. We got these 4 TVs. We got this laptop. I could actually fire up another screen if I wanted to. I could put another little TV screen right up next to that one and plug it into our second computer over there, and I could watch more races if I'd like. But you know what I don't like is when you're on the same IP address. And here's the thing about Flow and Dirt Vision. They have so many races on at one time. What they need to do is they need to set it up to where if you're on the same IP address, you can watch as many of the races on that one IP address as you'd like. It's like me. Sometimes I'll get on here, and once in a while, it'll kick me off and say that I'm watching from more than one location. But I'll refresh it, and it will let me stay on there and watch it.
But they don't already let you watch as many events on the same IP address?
No, that's what they need to do. As long as you're on the same IP address, you should be able to watch every race you want on Flow.
I'm pretty sure Flow and Dirt Vision are like that. I know at my house, same internet, and we can watch this on my computer and the TV in the living room.
Well, let me tell you.
Are you sure all the Wi-Fi's are on the same one?
Well, I'm not sure that all of them are on the same one because here's what I do. I put Dirt Vision on the RBN, and then I put the others on Racing Boys. And that way, you can mix and match a little bit, you know?
And it takes a little prep work to get everything organized for the night. You know, you got to, okay, what am I going to watch on this TV and that, and you got to get your schedules together.
I will tell you, my priorities are World of Outlaws on this big TV behind me, the All-Stars on this TV right here, the ASCS National Tour on that race TV right there, and then whatever USAC's doing, I usually put it on that TV right there. And then when I decide to go a little bit further, the TV directly in front of me, the one that's on the counter, I don't know if Austin can see it, but there's a TV right there. That TV is made for us to see what's going on during the broadcast. So I took an HDMI cord, I laid a laptop up there, and I plugged it into that TV there so I could watch the USMTS stuff last night. The USMTS stuff was the last race over last night. Did you know that?
And that might have been the best race of the whole night.
It might have been. I think it might have been. What'd you think of that race? With them running side by side like that, Kirk? Was that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it was Jake O'Neill. He won this Masters event on Saturday night last year. And that was his first career win in the USMTS a year ago at Cedar Lake Speedway. And after Dustin Sorensen dominated on Thursday night, I think, would he finish fourth in this race last night? Fourth or fifth? I don't have the results up here right now. But last night, Jake O'Neill started up front, and he made it count, led the whole way. And I thought maybe Terry Phillips would have a pretty good shot at him. He lost the lead a couple laps there, didn't he? Yeah. And Terry Phillips looked really good, and I thought he was going to be a player there. But once Mullins got around Terry Phillips, then it was all between O'Neill and Tanner Mullins.
Man, it just makes me smile to see Marie back hanging out with us. She's been gone for a little bit. Yeah. She was on vacation. Yep, and vacation. Well, we missed her. I'll tell you that.
I want to talk about.
She's kind of like our satellite person out there in
Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, yeah.
So welcome back, Marie. I want to talk about a couple of crashes that have occurred in the World of Outlaws. And last Saturday night was maybe the biggest multi-car pileup I've ever seen at Knoxville, and that's saying something in that heat
I don't
race
know
at
if it's the
Knoxville
biggest
last
I've
Saturday
ever
night.
seen there.
That was a vicious crash that involved 8 cars out of the 11 that started that heat
Right.
race.
That was a
Terry
pileup.
Madsen was right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that? That was crazy.
That was a grinder.
Yeah.
How many cars got upside down in that wreck? Is this it right here?
Here it is.
Look at that. Holy cow. Look at all those cars.
Never fails. The last car on the track piles right in the wreck.
Just piles right in there.
Never
Nowhere
fails.
to go. But hey, did you notice the person getting out of that one car and running around and checking on everybody else? Did you notice that?
Yeah, who was that?
I don't know who that was.
Noah Gass.
Was it Noah Gass?
Noah Gass.
Noah Gass got his ass chewed out last night.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, he wasn't one that caused the wreck.
Do you have that wreck from last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other crash I want to
think,
talk
I
about.
think Tim with
I
Craig
was a
Kinzer
little-
owes them an apology.
I was a little bit concerned for J.J. Hickle because that was a pretty nasty one.
All the drivers are okay in both these crashes, right?
Yes.
Right.
Craig Kinzer has a concussion.
Oh, he
Craig's out
does.
for a couple weeks. They just announced it this morning.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, that hate
Watch
hearing that.
this.
They'll
This
cut.
is
They'll cut to it here. Just they're going to
This
run
is
this
a
lap.
grinder.
This
It
involves,
happened in the first few laps,
It's
didn't
the
it?
first lap. They're going to cut to it right here and then show
This-
a replay of it.
Josh
Oh.
Schneiderman in the 49 car.
That's Hickle right there. Destroyed that car.
Yeah.
Destroyed all of them.
Yeah.
J.J. Hickle and Craig Kinzer.
Here it is. Look. Oh, who was that? It's the one car.
Marcus Dumsney. So what happened was, I don't know if I can find the video on here or not, but let me slow it down and go back.
See the one car in the inside right there.
Yeah, so what you don't see in this view, what you do see on a backstretch view is JJ kind of got tied off a 2 and it pulled the front end up, and it just pulled the front end up enough to when he sat it back down.
He had to get out of the gas.
No, he was over the right rear of Marcus Dumsney, and he ran over, so he sets the car down right there, and the right rear went over the left front, dug the left front and the front end of Hickle down, and that was your whole wreck right there. But yeah, Noah Gass
he did
not
anything.
cause that.
Right.
That happened on the first lap, right?
Yes.
Did the crew chief automatically think it was Noah Gass because his wing damage? You think?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Even Snyderman thought it was Noah Gass too. So,
but that was a scary one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was.
I've
never,
was pretty good speed going right there.
I've never seen a car go from running a straight line to 90 in the air. So definitely.
And you can always tell how grinding the wreck is by how much mud's packed into the car, right?
Yeah.
Every one of those cars. It took them a while to get that track back into shape because they dug up so much dirt down there in the back straightaway.
And both of these crashes occurred on consecutive nights for the World of Outlaws. Last Saturday night at Knoxville and last night at Beaver Dam.
Man, that was a grinding.
Let's hope for a safe night tonight up there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Of course,
well, then how about... Let me pull this video back up. Did anybody notice when McFadden crashed off of 2 that the four-wheeler guy almost got caught up in the wreck?
The car wasn't even done rolling yet.
Yeah, watch. He bails out over there.
Look,
There comes the car.
whoa. It was going to roll over on top of him. You know, is that a problem? These guys want to get to the wreck too fast, you think?
Well, I'd rather
sometimes?
them get there now than wait. We didn't talk about it, but a couple weeks ago at Gateway when that Carson Josefar broke his tibia,
yeah,
he sat there in the car in pain for probably a good minute, 2 minutes.
Nobody checked on him?
While the safety crew just took their time to get over there, and they checked on everybody else besides him, and he's the one that took the hardest hit. Everybody else spun to a stop, and he's the one with door damage and resulted in a broken bone in his leg. But I mean, it's supposed to be the best safety crew in the world. Yeah, it's supposed to be the best safety crew in the world, and we can't get to the wreck in a timely manner.
And every time I see that 41 car at Beaver Dam Speedway, I just can't help but think about Jason Johnson.
But Austin, to be fair, some of these guys that are rambunctious and they try to get in there before the car's done even flipping. Where'd we see the guy get run over at? Was it Port?
No, that was Millbridge, but that guy was
Millbridge.
He was just clueless to where he was at.
Well, he got ran over though.
Yeah, I mean he knows.
Hey, did you see the video of the guy that crossed the track as the sprint car was coming
That
around?
happened last year.
Huh?
That happened last year. That's a year old, but yes.
Was that Sammy in that car?
No, that was a Placerville Weekly show. The guy across the track.
Oh my gosh. I don't know where that video is, but man, if we could find that video, Kirk, it is unbelievable. A guy is standing at the bottom of the racetrack. You can hear the sprint car come out onto the racetrack, and at the same time, the guy tries to run across the track as the sprint car is coming, and the sprint car just about ran over him.
I think I've seen that video.
Oh, it's horrifying, really. Yeah. We've seen that a time or two.
Yeah.
We've seen sprint cars almost hit push trucks before. We've seen push trucks run over sprint cars before.
Well, let's hope for a safe night at Beaver Dam Speedway tonight. And as I pointed out, Carson Macedo driving the 41 car up there last night. I kind of root for the 41 to win up there tonight because that's where we lost Jason Johnson 3 years ago. And so Beaver Dam's a place that I always think about the 41 car. That'll never change. Todd and I were together when we witnessed that terrible crash. We were doing the primetime show, and we were live on the air when that crash occurred.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
Pete chimed in. He said Danny's brother, Billy Dietrich, driving his own number 8 with taped number 4 added to it to become the 48, help Danny's car owner, Gary Kaufman, stay in the car owner point lead at Williams Grove. Billy finished second in the feature to Chase Dietz. And the championship is worth $18,000.
I watched that feature last night, and the Billy Dietrich had the lead in that race for quite a while before Chase Dietz was able to get around him. And I thought for a second there, we're going to have two Dietrichs win features on the same night. It looked like that was going to happen there for a little while, but he still ran pretty well last night and ended up second. Chase Dietz, his second feature win in a row at Williams Grove, number 39 car. Macri was in that field last night. He didn't. He finished back in the field there. I forgot where he ended up, but Anthony Macri was in the field last night.
Kirk, you went out to the Central Auto Racing Boosters Hall of Fame thing last weekend. How was that?
They had the Legends picnic out at Lakeside Speedway. Had a great time out there. Saw a lot of friends I haven't seen for a while. Bud and Keith, I hadn't seen them forever. Good to see them. And a lot of folks out there. Bob Reed and his family, and a lot of people that I'm going to leave somebody out, but it was a fun time.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Christies for putting great food out there.
Yeah. Well, sorry I wasn't able to make it out there.
Yeah, that was fun.
I had intentions of going out there, but, we had a lot going on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, you were with Alston up at his celebration last week.
Well, I got to put some priority into where I go. And my priority is
had a lot of things going on.
That kid over there who just turned 19 yesterday.
Hey, happy birthday, Austin.
What, 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
I had to think about that for a second.
It wasn't yesterday?
No, it was Thursday, 16th.
Hey, Austin, have you noticed the more you do this show how days kind of blend together? Have you ever noticed that? Does it blend together?
For myself?
Yeah?
No.
It doesn't, huh?
No.
Well, wait till you get a few years older.
For you?
Yeah.
I've noticed it.
Well, if you've done it as long as we have.
I can only imagine what it would be like.
Right.
I get the feeling Austin is thinking enough about my birthday already.
Hey, the thing about it is, there was times when we get done doing a race, me and Scotty, and we'd go to a local restaurant or something, and somebody'd ask us who won that night, and we couldn't even tell you because it's just a blur after a certain point.
Well, you watch so many races. Okay, who won where? How do we get...
Well, I mean, they just snowball into each other. You know, you start thinking about it and you go, what? I can't remember.
You're talking about one race, and then you start talking about, you think it's the same race, but it's somewhere else.
I do that all the time, don't I, Austin?
Hey, tomorrow night, Austin, you're heading down to Double X Speedway, right?
That's the plan.
You loading up today?
Tomorrow morning.
Are you just going to do it in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, it's too hot to put the poor car out there all night and all day. Let it sit in a hot box. Not a good idea.
The show car?
Show car.
That'll be a fun night down there.
Yeah, it pays $2,000 to win, so, I mean...
I think I might run down there and watch him.
Yeah, that'll be a big night of racing at Double X.
We'll see how the Blues Festival goes tonight, and that will determine if I go down there tomorrow night.
Yeah.
The Blues Festival could be pretty cool tonight. Got to take a night off from these TVs once in a while.
And you don't have to go far to see it.
No. And next weekend, I am so looking forward to next weekend at I-70 Speedway. It's going to be the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour out there. Are you looking forward to racing out there next weekend, Austin?
Since you got mad at me for saying this yesterday, I'll say yes.
What?
You got all mad at me and on me for asking if I was ready to go fast, and I said I go fast every week. It's nothing new for me, and you told me just to say yes. So here you go. Yes, I am ready to go.
Just say what's on your mind. That's what you should say.
Austin, picking on you a little bit's okay.
No, I know. I do the same thing to you. So
right, yeah, that's all right. It's all good. You know, you can pick on an old man, but it's hard to pick on a young guy. You know what I mean? Austin, 19 years old, just out of high school. What are you going to do?
He's ready to start winning races. Get out there and start doing it.
Do you need a tire?
Always need tires.
I know it. I got you.
You can never have enough. If you can find them.
You know, we only help a couple people. Blake Hahn and Austin. Those are the guys that we're going to help. And Blake Hahn, we've been helping him forever. He's won a lot of races in that Racing Boys fire suit. He says every time I put that thing on, it seems like I win. So, what's Todd digging around in there?
What did he end up, fourth last night?
Huh?
Fourth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was hard to pass.
There was nothing he could do.
Hard to pass.
It was all down on the bottom, huggy pole. It was terrible racing last night.
Now, Garrett Williamson actually did get by Derek Hager at one point, which that was kind of shocking, but then Derek Hager was able to get back by him for the lead.
Austin, this is a yes or no question. Was that a good race at Texarkana?
No, I have to finish the question. I'll tell you no.
You didn't even have to finish it.
No, on that track, I mean, that was perfect for Hagar. I mean, Hagar's the best when it gets, super slick in one lane and
down on the bottom.
I was not surprised to see the results that, he was the winner.
But,
I was surprised to see Garrett run second, though.
That was a reflection of more of starting up towards the front, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because, Blake Hahn is as good as anybody rolling the bottom.
Even Wayne Johnson. Wayne didn't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Where are they at? Boot Hill tonight?
Yep.
Let's hope that Boot Hill gives them a better track tonight. Because that wasn't exciting to watch last night. That was not a very exciting race. Running on the bottom, putting around, follow the leader. And Hagar tried to get off there one time. Did you see that when he went up there and tried to rip the top?
Is that when Williamson able to pass him for the lead?
Yeah, that's when Garrett got by him. And then Garrett went to the top the same lap.
Right.
The track's on the bottom, and you pass him on the bottom. Why'd you go to the top, Garrett?
Right. And you know who else tried it up there?
Covington.
Covington tried it, and he lost 3 or 4 spots, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he had a shot at the top 3 and had allowed Crawley to get by, and that was it.
Yeah, Tim Crawley ended up in 3rd place ahead of Blake Hahn, and Matt Covington in 5th place last night.
Make sure that story's there on our news, right there in our news. So
you popped it up there?
It's going to be in there right there in the comment section, but you can always find all this stuff we're talking about on our news page right there.
Yeah,
so.
Covington started 2nd and ended up running 5th. I'm trying to look through the field here and trying to find somebody. Dustin Gates, he started 10th, ran 8th. How about Jason Martin? He was the big shaker of the night. He started 21st and ran 9th.
Wow.
But it's a lot easier to get through those first cars than it is those last 10 cars, right?
It is.
Right? The closer you get to the front, the harder it is to pass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They had the ASCS Sooner region at the New Tulsa Speedway last night. Chance Morton picked up the feature win over Fred Maddox and Reese Morgan at New Tulsa Speedway last night. They're going to be at Lawton Speedway for the ASCS Sooner region tonight.
Marie said Macri was not very fast last night, struggling all night. Sure, it will be different at Port tonight. Well, that's
oh yes, it'll be different at Port City than Port Royal.
Port Royal.
I get Port City, Port Royal.
Right.
Port Royal Speedway tonight, and it's going to be a big night there. In addition to the USAC non-wing sprint cars, it is going to be Silver Crown cars in action tonight. At Port
that's
Royal.
right. They're going to run the Silver Crown cars there too, right?
I did see they cut the laps down on the Silver Crown race due to a tire shortage.
One of your favorite subjects, cutting laps.
I mean, you have to for that. I mean, if you don't have tires and you can't get them to last, and you can't run them for 100 laps, I mean, it doesn't make sense. You're going to blow through your inventory.
Well, they didn't have any tires last night for the Texarkana race and Boot Hill race. They're not going to have any tires down there available for them.
I'd love to see what the tires look like after the ASCS race. They probably didn't look too good.
Oh, yeah. You mean after putting around on the rubber in the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think a lot of that, not only the track conditions, but also lack of tires resulted in what we saw last night down there?
Yeah, probably. It might have had a play in it. You think the lack of tires last night down there, Austin, had a play into some things?
Into
the way the race transpired?
You think they burned them off?
Probably.
Yeah, how much? I guess the question is, how much of a role did that really play on what we saw last night?
First of all, Austin, it doesn't take much to burn these tires off, and the cartridge, the tread would just come right off of the tire, right? How many laps have we seen a tire do that?
Within 15?
15, 20?
Well, yeah, within 15. I mean, they just, some people, I mean, they're not curing long enough. They're too soft. You put them out there. You put a lot of heat to them. They're going to blister. They're going to chunk out. And you're going to lose a tire to waste your money. And I mean, you can't keep. I mean, look at what race was it last night? It was the All-Star race at Lima Land. They were getting ready to run the heat races, and they came over the radio and announced that they were going to open up the tire rule for the night and allow teams to put a new tire on for the heat race. And if they made the dash, the dash. If not, I'd be main too.
Right.
But they were forced to take the qualifying tire and run it the feature. They were already having issues from the heat race and in qualifying on tires wearing and falling apart. That they had opened the rule up and allowed them to put a different tire on for the heat race and then put that same tire back on for the feature. So I mean, you can't continue to give us something like that to race on in this condition.
And the heat cycle's on top of that, right?
I mean, it just makes it a harder tire. So I mean, the more you run it, the better it'll probably get if you don't wear it out.
That's true. Marie said, and 50 laps for Port Royal's 50th anniversary. And she said, I will be there. So, Marie, maybe you need to call in on the show on Monday and be our correspondent out there.
That event is high on my list of races to watch tonight because I've become a huge fan of Port Royal Speedway. Does
that mean you're a big fan of Anthony Macri?
Yeah, well, he puts on a great show there every time out.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy knows that racetrack, and the way they prep that racetrack, and I've said it many times before, they have really hit on something at that big half-mile racetrack. Because a lot of half-mile racetracks, we see cars get spread out.
Yeah,
it's really not that good of a race.
Right.
At Port Royal Speedway,
it's not the case.
It is not the case. They have been putting on some great racing at that racetrack over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And tonight is going to be another big night with the non-wing cars there. So,
Kirk, what do we got going on here locally for the Kansas City people that want to talk a little bit about racing. What's happening this weekend around here?
I-35 Speedway tonight has the Mike Tanner
You had
Memorial
to start
race.
there, didn't you?
Well,
All
that's the first thing on my mind. Mike Tanner, we lost Mike here a few years ago.
Right.
And they're going to honor him tonight at I-35 Speedway. So that's big. And as you talked about a little bit earlier, at Central Missouri Speedway, they're starting an hour later than normal because of the heat, which I think's a good move. And
US 36 had to cancel last night.
Yeah, and it wasn't because of weather. They were short of help and some other issues that they weren't able to put on a show last night. So that's too bad.
Yeah. Andy Bryant won the USRA B mods out at Lakeside last night.
Yep.
Did you hear that?
I did. We
And
talked about that the first hour.
Nick Benninger, he picked up the USRA Modifieds, the A mod.
Yep.
Win.
So they had a big turnout at Lakeside Speedway last night after rain hit them a week ago for the Joe Barry Memorial race, the big B-Mod race that they were supposed to pay $1,200 to win. They got rained on last week.
Right.
Last night, no weather issues, and got the big show in and good car count out at Lakeside.
Kevin Anderson picked up the USRA stock car win last night as well. And in the pure stock division, Darren Schmidt picked up the win there. And in the E-Mods, is that Brandon Bennett? Is that Darren Bennett's kid? Is he related to the Bennett? I don't know. I can't answer that one. Don't know. Nobody knows. It's a secret.
I do not know if that's a relation or not. I have not a clue.
I have no idea.
So
you know my thing. If you own a racetrack, you shouldn't have any family members racing on it.
Well, the owner of Lakeside Speedway races every Friday night,
and I don't like
Don
that.
Mars.
I don't like that either.
Bennett's a common nice name, though. He could be not family. He might not be family.
Well, I'm just saying.
No, I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, I bet you he may
Kirk,
not be family.
do you agree with me on that? Austin, do you agree with me on that? If you run a racetrack, should your son or family member or somebody directly connected to your family be allowed to race on that racetrack? What's your thoughts?
It probably wouldn't be the best idea.
Right.
Well, I would say stay out of the officiating part of it if you're going to. And Don Mars is not involved in any of the officiating.
I agree with that.
That's what I was going to say. With Don, he's way hands off, man.
Yeah, he lets everybody else run it.
It's all being run, and he's just doing his racing thing.
I think Darren Bennett's done a pretty good job so far this year.
Oh, I think so too.
So good?
Yeah. I don't see any complaints. Yeah, to be honest with you, he had some pretty big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. And it's even tougher now. So he lost his wife, Donna, here a few months ago. Very sad that we don't have Donna around anymore, which has made things even way more difficult.
Well, you know who's in charge, don't you? In most families.
Yeah.
Who's in charge in your family, Austin? Is it your mom or is it your dad?
You know who it is.
Say it.
You know,
come
Mom's
on,
running the
don't be
show.
scared. Your
The
dad,
ladies
your
are in
dad,
charge.
You're too big for your dad to whip you with a belt anymore.
No, I couldn't answer that question. I wouldn't. I mean,
Is it a 50-50 then?
I guess I guess you could say that. I just
hold on a second.
Y'all kind of do our
when
own thing.
you need something done, who do you go to first? Your mom or your dad?
Like, what do you mean something done? Like give me an example. I'll tell you.
Outside of the race car, when you need something done, who's your lean on? Is it your mom or your dad?
Well, Dad's always out of town and working, so
it's your mom.
Only person left at the house if I can't do it myself, which I do majority of this stuff for myself.
Hey, are you a little bit of a mama's boy?
I'd say neither on both of them. I do my own thing, I guess.
Oh my God!
I try to.
I can't get a straight answer out of this kid.
Hey,
I'm
got
just
a new
telling you.
fence rider.
Gosh.
You got your new fence rider.
Yeah.
He's
Kirk's
the,
leaving and you got
he's the new Kirk Elliott.
He's
Oh,
riding
no.
that pick and fence.
No,
I'm a mama's boy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm a
Me and you
mama's
both.
boy too, man.
Yeah, my mom raised me.
All the way,
My
man.
mom raised me from the
There was
day one.
nothing more important to me than my mom.
And my aunts, my mom and my aunts and
My grandma and
they
my
all,
mom.
my grandma, my grandmas, and my aunts and my mom raised me. So I mean,
You know, Austin, just to give you a little advice here, just so you know, you're better off leaning on your mom because she's going to keep you a little more ground. Your dad, he's the guy that pushes you to do things better, right? Your mom is the one that keeps you level.
Mom's level-headed, that's for sure.
Moms are more level-headed than dads.
All right.
No comment at all. He's just staying totally out of this one because mom and dad might be listening right now.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. We don't want to get you in any trouble, buddy.
Hey, one other big event.
Kirk, who in your family, who was the leader of the, when it really came down to it, who was the leader of the pack in your family? Was it your mom or was it your dad?
Well, that's a hard one to answer.
Here's that
because
fence
Come on.
both my parents were leaders. They each had their way. Now, I'd have to say that's about even.
So let's say if the trip,
My dad and
the-
mom both were.
if you're the annual
Strong
Vegas
leaders.
trip
My
for the
gosh, these
Elliots,
straddlers we've got in here.
if those Elliots were getting ready to go to Vegas on their normal Vegas trip, and the mom said we're not going this year,
They're not going.
they're not going, probably, right?
Right.
But that never happened.
I know, but I'm just saying if and when.
But let me just tell you, I know a thing or two about Kirk's mom and dad, and I'm going to tell you right now, Kirk's mom was the leader of the pack.
Kirk's mom had a big footprint up there in Iowa, so
Whatever mom wanted, mom got.
But so did my dad. Whatever he wanted, he got too. So that's a hard one to judge there for me.
Well,
they were both strong.
As being raised as an only child, that's why I'm so screwed
Yeah.
up, just so you know. Only child with a single mother, I was definitely a mama's boy.
Yeah.
All the way, man.
My mom and dad were both strong people, so that's a hard one to pick. So that'd be about like choosing who's your most favorite daughter. You know, you love them both.
Kelly says my dad taught me to fight, my mom taught me to win.
Well, that's a good one. I like that. Hey, I was going to talk about one other big event we need to talk about tonight. It's at my old stomping grounds, the Adams County Speedway up in Corning, Iowa tonight. They've got the Malvern Bank Late Model Series up there tonight.
I
It's
enjoy
the
that series.
Gail and Karen Hampel Memorial Race. Now, Gail and Karen Hampel were two very special people to me. They brought me in to their world back in the 80s, and I was the announcer at Adams County Speedway for 17 years and worked very closely with Gail and Karen Hampel, and they're being honored tonight with a special race. And
You should go to that, Kirk.
I'm thinking about it. $3,000 to win a main. And it could grow to as much as $3,500 thanks to $500 winner's bonus that will be put up from Always Race Day. And that's going to be a big event up there tonight. Big late model show at
Kirk,
Adams County
it wouldn't
Speedway,
be right
Corning,
if you,
Iowa.
It wouldn't be right if you're not there.
I just might do it.
Just
I've
might
not
go up
made
there.
any final decisions of where I'm going to go tonight, but
You're going to be home watching it on TV.
I don't know if there's any video live. I don't think there's any live video of that. So,
All right.
But I just may drive up there, check that out. That'll be a good show.
I'm going to the Blues Fest. I love the blues, if anybody knows. I'm all about the blues. I'm going to take a night off from racing, clear my mind, be ready for Saturday. I'll come back in here on Sunday, and I'll watch all the highlights of everything that happened tonight, and be prepared for a Monday morning show. So Deidre and I are going to go out and just have a night out tonight.
And really, since there's no NASCAR racing tomorrow, the big NASCAR show's tonight at Knoxville.
Right.
The one big Sunday race is Double X Speedway, where
2,000 to win.
Our Austin O'Neill's going to be down there
And
racing
Huset's.
tomorrow night.
Huh?
And Huset's.
Huset's?
Huset's
Oh,
is
yeah,
really
tomorrow
big.
night Huset's will be on.
And they got a
Yeah.
big week coming up this next week with the World Outlaws.
Yeah,
going
no
up there.
doubt.
3 nights at Huset's this next week. They're making up that one that got rained
4
out
nights.
a couple
Four
of weeks ago,
nights.
right?
It's
4
4
nights
nights.
of racing.
Yeah.
Because of that rain out.
Because they had 3 nights scheduled already, and so with that rain out from a couple of weeks ago, 4 big nights at Houston Speedway.
We got that Steve Post sound, don't we? Let's run it real quick. Kirk, you want to set this up?
Yeah, Steve Post is he's going to be at Knoxville tonight with the Motor Racing Network's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race up at Knoxville Raceway, and he's a guest on Mostly Motorsports every Wednesday, talking NASCAR and sprint car racing. He's the host of Wing Nation on the Motor Racing Network, and here's a little bit of that conversation that Scott had with Steve Post here this past Wednesday.
We had Lee on Monday, and she said that the Daniel Suarez win at Sonoma might have been the biggest win in the last 20 years in NASCAR. Would you agree with that statement? I'm not sure I'm not sure I can agree with it, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure I agree with it. I'll put that up there. I think that's one of those we're going to have to stay tuned on. Okay.
Yep.
I think first and foremost, what Trackhouse has done, and I think they're to a degree Kaulig Racing as well. I think they have changed the model of ownership forever, or I think they will change the ownership of model and are changing the model of ownership forever. So I think that's one element of it. And for that second team to win here in their first season as a 2-car team, with what Ross Chastain has done, I think that's significant because Justin Marks has put together something totally different, and I think it'll revolutionize the sport. So I think Chastain getting 2 wins is one thing. I think the second team getting 2 wins is another. On the other front with that, as far as the Hispanic market goes, when they rolled out, Scott, I'll never forget this as long as I live. When we went to the Coliseum back in the end of January, February, whenever that was, and they were doing driver introductions, and they had the drivers walk down from the end of it, walk down through the Coliseum. And when they got to Daniel Suarez, he had a huge sombrero on, and when they announced his name, the place was vibrating. I mean, the Hispanic market, the market that he is delivering is significant when you look at it. Now, we don't see it in Kansas. We're not going to see it in Pocono all that much.
Right.
But when we go to Homestead, when we go to Texas, when we go to Phoenix, when we go to California, it moves the needle. He is moving the needle. Now, I'm not sure I'm with Lee. I'm not sure I'm with Lee that it's the biggest win in the last 20 years. I think you look back at Bubba Wallace in a similar platform, a minority driver getting a win. I think Bubba Wallace, you could if you're going to make the claim based on diversity, I think you can also talk about Bubba Wallace in that thing bringing Michael Jordan to victory lane in NASCAR. So I'm not sure I'm with Lee in that it was the number 1 win or the biggest win. I could go with top 5 though, because I just think the way NASCAR is going here in 2022 and the diversity, the grandstands already look different than they did 5 years ago. And I say that 100% believing that is a good thing.
Yeah.
But the grandstands look different. And here's where it gets interesting. Suarez goes out and wins a couple more races, then we'll see what this thing does and what the impact is. Because it's one thing to have a Mexican driver, a Hispanic driver win a race. It's another thing to have them go out and be a contender and a title contender. And I think at that point we see maybe more of what this is. But I'm still not sure I'm with Lee that it's the biggest win. I think that I think there's some cases that can be made for other races as well.
It's a pretty broad statement when you say that. In the last 20 years, there's a lot of wins that stand out along the way. But you know what I like, Steve, is when I look at the top of the sheet at the end of these races in the Cup Series now. You never know who you're going to see at the top. Like this week, you saw Daniel Suarez, Christopher Buescher, Michael McDowell. You know, having those three guys at the top, doesn't that inject a little enthusiasm to some of the smaller teams, you know, like a Justin Haley's team or any one of the teams that are out there that are running that are a little more on a lower level? I don't mean that with disrespect. But they don't. But they don't have the finances that some of these other teams have. And when I see a Daniel Suarez, Christopher Buescher, Michael McDowell in the top three, that makes me happy.
I'm going to correct one thing you said. You said it injects a little bit of optimism. No, it injects a lot of optimism.
Yep.
That's the only thing I'm going to correct you on, because it does. We are at such a neat spot with the sport right now. And we're watching this. We're watching Trackhouse Racing has 3 wins this season. We've seen that Call-It car. We've seen Justin Haley up at the front of the field. We've seen Tyler Reddick at the front of the field nearly winning things. And RFK. I mean, face it, the bottom line of it is this is Roush, Fenway, Keselowski Racing.
Right.
But this has not been a premier team for years and years and years. It's been a good team, but it's not been a premier team. Well, here they are running second spot with Chris Buescher. And the one that I really am just blown away by is the Front Row Motorsports team. I don't think it's really a shocker when you see Michael McDowell run well on a road course. What I think is really impressive with that team is they're backing up a top 10 finish at Gateway with a great run on the road course.
Right.
So they're stacking some things together. I think when you look at JTG Doherty Racing, now their short track program and the road course racing, Roadcrest program is not good, but their intermediate program is top 10, maybe top 5. And so they look at it. So when you take this and you look at where we're at specifically in the calendar year, we're taking this weekend off. The Cup Series is off. We have 10 races to the playoffs. 10 races to the playoffs. 3 of them are on road courses, and 2 of them are on super speedway type tracks, Atlanta and Daytona. So you're Michael McDowell, you're Front Row Motorsports.
Right.
You're Brad Keselowski, who is great on super speedway races, and that team is really good on road courses. Go down the list and see it. And it's just fascinating to me what we're going to see here in these 10 races because of the diversity of the track and some of these teams being able to find these niches. JTG Doherty finding the niche of intermediate tracks. What do they do when they go to Nashville and Michigan? Can that be a team? Can Ricky Stenhouse Jr. get up there and win a race? He finished second at Dover on concrete. We're going to Nashville. What can you do there? Yeah. And so that's been the fun part about this season is usually at this point in the year, we are talking about Team Penske versus Joe Gibbs Racing versus Hendrick Motorsports. Yep. Maybe Stuart Haas is in the conversation, maybe not. But we're generally talking about those teams. This year, it's all over the map. I mean, This year you look, you just don't know what to expect. And to me, I think that's what's driving a lot of the excitement and energy around the sport is we just don't know what's coming next. I mean, who had that top 3 on Sunday afternoon at Sonoma?
Right.
I mean, seriously, who had that top 3?
Right.
I don't think that's a long shot at best.
There you have it. That's Steve Post. He joins us on Mostly Motorsports every Wednesday. So if you'd like to listen to what Steve has to say, he's got a wealth of knowledge, and he's a great friend of the Racing Boys, and we always appreciate him coming on and joining us each and every Wednesday about 12:20. What'd you take out of that conversation, Kirk? Anything?
Well, I was surprised that he didn't think that was the biggest win in the last 20 years for Daniel Suarez to win that race out there at Sonoma. So he agrees with you that maybe that's
not the biggest win.
Maybe so not. But I do think it's impactful in this sense of what Daniel Suarez was the big guy of this diversity program that NASCAR had and to bring new fans into the sport. I do think that Daniel Suarez has done that. I think he's brought in new fans to the sport, so that's big. But
Austin, what'd you want to say?
So you're telling me Jimmy Johnson's 7th championship win wasn't bigger than Daniel Suarez's first win?
No, what they're talking about, they're not talking about.
I know we didn't say that.
Hold on.
But
Great point, though.
But for the one saying that,
very good point.
Is that
Austin.
what you're telling me?
Yeah, but that's not what she was talking about.
That's why we got the young mind here.
Yeah.
You know what? That winning that 7th championship was maybe the biggest thing that's happened in the last 20 years. Wouldn't you agree?
I'd say it's pretty close to it.
But it depends on how you look at it. What Lee Spencer was talking about is the impact of bringing new fans into the sport, and what Daniel Suarez has done to bring a new segment of race fans that had never followed NASCAR in to watch NASCAR.
Let me ask you this.
That's what she's talking about.
Who's brought more people in the last 3 years, Kyle Larson or Daniel Suarez?
Kyle Larson.
So
No doubt.
if you're telling me that nobody like a Daniel Suarez brought fans in, so then was Marcus Ambrose's, Juan Pablo Montoya, who else was before them? Was their time in NASCAR like worthless, kind of? I mean, did they not grow the sport at all?
Bubba Wallace is one, right?
Rain delay.
Yeah, I would say.
But does that matter?
No, I'm not saying you.
I'd say the Bubba Wallace win, you could argue, was bigger than what Daniel Suarez did.
I would agree.
What Bubba Wallace won, because not only was it Bubba Wallace, but he also won for Michael Jordan, who was the team owner. So I think you could argue that win by Bubba at Talladega last fall was bigger than what Daniel Suarez did at Sonoma last weekend.
Right. A lot of great racing going on tonight. Let's kind of step over some of this. We can't tell you everything that's going on tonight, but the USMTS Masters Cedar Lake race is going to be taking place tonight. You can watch that on Race and Dirt, right? And they've also got the American Racer Modified Series, USRA, running at Devil's Bowl tonight as well, and you can find that on Race and Dirt. So that's another a great night of action to watch. Tonight, you can watch the World of Outlaws at Beaver Dam. They'll be running tonight. And then you can watch Hell Tour at Fairbury Speedway. You can watch that tonight as well. And they've also got a Southern, what is that, Austin? Southern Winds race. What? They got another race at Southern Illinois Raceway. It looks like it's midget racing.
SIR? That's the High Banks Hustle with micros.
Micros. All right. Thanks for getting me out of that one, bud. I appreciate you. And then Flo. My gosh, they have everything or what? What do you want to watch out of Flo tonight?
All Stars at Portsmouth Speedway. That wraps up Ohio Sprint Week tonight. And then you've got the races at Port Royal Speedway this evening.
You got
with
the Doug Hoffman
USAC
Memorial
non-wing
at
sprint
Bridgeport.
cars, Silver Crown, and wing sprint cars also at Port Royal.
Right. Anybody want to watch the ARCA race tonight?
No. We're at
Berlin.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch a total of 12 cars somewhere else.
Right.
You're just, tell us how you really feel there, Austin.
ARCA's gone.
That's why he fits in here.
I saw a TikTok a couple days ago, and it's a mid-pack, somewhat average budget ARCA team. I know you had one. And the rebuilds are probably one up more.
I had a better team than those.
Yeah, I think your team will probably be better than this one. But you know what a rebuild is for an ARCA engine?
Right.
They say it's competitive.
Yeah.
20 to 35,000 for a rebuild.
Well, you know what you do? You rent motors.
Yeah, but when they said that, I couldn't believe it.
Don't do what a lot of guys did here on the local level. Try to build a motor here locally and try to run it in ARCA. Those people down south in the 704 are so more advanced than the people that are here that you just got to go down there and rent a motor. That's what I did. I went down. Every time I ran them, I say that. The motors that I rented, I don't know if I ever told you this, Austin, but I bought both of the motors that I rented from Dan Begley. Dan Begley decided to go to work for Robert Yates, and he said, I'm going to sell my motors, Scott. Would you like them? And I bought two of the SB2 motors that I had, and they were stout motors. And unfortunately, I blew up both of them. And I blew them. Well, in fact, my last race that I ran in my ARCA car, I was running 7th or 8th, and the motor let go, and there was about 3 or 4 people in front of me that were going to have to come in and get gas. I think I could have got a top 5 that race. Do you remember that race, Kurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yep. That was a bad deal. All right, so the Lucas Oil ASCS National Sprint Car Tour is going to be at Boot Hill tonight. Bowman Gray is going to be on tonight at which is one of Austin's favorite races to watch. Do you still watch it, Austin? Bowman Gray?
Yeah. If I don't watch it live, I'll watch it during the week in the shop. It's the madhouse. Everybody knows what Bowman Gray's about. I'm glad they allowed Flo to come in there and stream it. It's just, for somebody that doesn't get to go watch it, in person, it's a good deal.
They have plenty of fans.
Pack the house every week.
Every week, yeah.
I've been to Bowman Gray Stadium just to look at it once. That's kind of in the middle of a residential neighborhood.
That's a little anticlimactic, isn't it, Kirk, when you go in there and just look at the racetrack?
It was at a time when they didn't have any races going on, but wanted to see where the place was at. It's been 25 years ago, but it's kind of a cool venue. It's really a football field. Looks like a football field when you drive up to it.
Right.
They repaved the track this year and put new grass and seed down. And is
it harder to pass now?
Yeah, the groove's not worn in. But it's getting better every week. But no, they have cones set up around the infield, and they'll get you penalized. And
if you hit a cone?
No, if you go through the infield, because it's their football grass. They don't want you tearing it up. So, yeah, if you go bailing across the infield to get somebody, you're not going to be a happy camper. You'll be in some trouble.
USAC Open Wheel Madness at Port Royal tonight. That's going to be some good stuff.
If you like micro sprints, Port City Speedway's got micro sprints tonight. Also, Sweet Springs, their weekly show tonight. You can watch that on the cushion if you can't be there.
Man, is it amazing how much NASCAR Weekly Racing Series is going on right now? When you look at Flo, they've got Lacrosse, Jennerstown, Evergreen Speedway, Alaska Raceway Park. Oh, are you kidding me? All the way up in Alaska? That's crazy.
Races in Alaska. That's where Flo Racing is right now. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Racing Dirt has action going on tonight up at the Masters, as Scott talked about a little bit earlier. The final night of the Masters will be at Cedar Lake Speedway tonight. That was great racing last night. And the Sooner region, they are in action tonight at Lawton Speedway. You can watch that on RacingDirt.com as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as you pointed out, Lucas Oil ASCS down at Boot Hill Speedway. Have you been to that racetrack before?
No, they haven't been there in 20 years. That's what I heard last night. So they're going back to Boot Hill.
How
for
big
the
a
first
track
time
is
in 20
that,
years.
you know?
I've never been there. Couldn't tell you.
So we'll look forward to seeing that tonight. Hopefully track conditions are better than what we saw last night.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to the show today. A lot going on here. Ken says, Berlin, a unique place. Yeah, for sure. Short tracks, Pete says, short track series director Brent Dieo would be a good guest for your show. Email. All right, we'll try to do that.
Yeah.
Give me a little more info on him, Pete, would you? Send me a private message on that, would you?
Wasn't Berlin Speedway up there in Michigan one of the mainstays for the old ASA series back in the day?
Back in the day.
You saw, Bob Seneker and Mike Getty and those guys. That's where they used to really battle it out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Johnny Benson.
Did you know I was on an ASA crew, Kurt?
Yeah, I
A.J. Cooper.
Was it A.J. Cooper? I was going to say Rick Beebe. Did you ever help him out?
No, never helped Rick. I was just helping A.J. Cooper because they helped me with my modified. So I always try to help them out.
But that Berlin racetrack up there, that's been around a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jennerstown. Jennerstown was another racetrack where they used to run the old ASA series back in the day. I didn't even know that track was still there.
Yeah. Good times back in those days. 92, 93 is when I helped. All right, again, thanks everybody for tuning into the show. It's all been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. Want to thank them for being great supporters of the Racing Boys all these years. Hopefully they will continue to do so, and we'll be able to continue mostly motorsports next year. And it's all about the money. We got to be able to pay our employees. So if your company would like to be involved in the show, just let us know. Get a hold of us through our Facebook Messenger or whatever you need to. Just try to reach out to us and let us know if you'd like to be a part of the show. We've got room for you. For Austin O'Neill, for Todd Surprise, for my partner Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us here on Track Talk. Again, it's all been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products. It works. We'll see you on Monday, mostly motorsports, 12 Central Time, right here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. We'll see you Monday.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.